So yesterday we tested the Campgrounds M hot tent stove in the 4-season HEXAGON tent from RBM Outdoors, and I was absolutely blown away, guys. If you haven't seen that video, you can go back and watch it, but it was like 22 degrees out here, and within about a half an hour, it got so hot in there, I had to come outside to cool down. The sun is out right now, and the temperature's gone up a little bit since then. It's about 25 degrees right now. You can see we've got snow on the ground, snow on the top of the tent, and I've got my little temperature gauge over here getting a reading for us. But after this tent got so hot with that stove in there, it made me very curious. I happen to have electric available at this site right here, so I wanted to see if an electric space heater would be enough to keep this tent warm inside in this cold weather. So I went to Lowe's this morning and I picked up this Utilitech infrared wood tower heater with adjustable thermostat and oscillation. Now this can heat up to a 300 square foot area. Right offhand, I believe this tent is about 150 square feet. And with this being a 3-layer tent that is made to be in cold weather, I'm very curious and I have very high hopes and expectations for this heater. So we're gonna run through this real quick in just a minute here, but I just wanna say in regards to using an electric space heater or even a propane heater as opposed to a tent stove, there is nothing like having a tent stove. It is so relaxing and warm to just kick back and watch the fire and have your feet getting warmed. And even though this one is pretty good looking, it can never replace the way that an actual wood stove looks in a tent. My thoughts on using something like this would be more like when you're going to bed at night and you just want to have that constant heat instead of having to get up through the night and keep putting wood on your fire. Now, I'm not going to go through all the specs of this particular heater because this isn't really a review of this heater. If you want to check this one out specifically, I will put a link to it in the description below, but I will say that this is rated up to 1500 watts, has tip over overheat protection, and it is supposed to be able to heat a room up to 300 square feet. Listen to these crazy crows. They're chasing a cat that has like a mouse or something in its mouth. You gotta love the outdoors. Okay, let's get going here. We got the tent opened up so that it will be just as cold inside as it is out here. We've got our little temperature gauge right here, and it says 26 degrees right now. We're gonna go ahead and just set that right here on top of the stove. Now, mind you, the stove is not lit right now, you can tell. It is definitely cold in here. Okay, I've got our cord running right in the door. I've got the heater set up over here on top of the box. Let's go ahead and turn this on here. It's set at 72 right now. Let's just set it at 75 for the heck of it. I can smell the heat coming out of there already. So I'm gonna go ahead and step out here, zip my door closed. There we go. And we're just gonna kind of step away from it for a few minutes. It is 1:00 p.m. right now on the dot. I'm just gonna kick back in my car over here and we'll give this about 15-20 minutes and then we'll step back inside and see what has happened. All right, it's exactly 20 minutes later. Let's go ahead in and see if this place warmed up. Wow. Oh my gosh, guys. Yes, holy crap. Look at this. 63 in here right now. I am so excited right now. This is so cool. So 27 degrees outside, 64 in here right now. That means that you can enjoy the comfort and the aesthetic of having an actual fire in a wood-burning stove during the day. And then when you go to bed at night, you can plug in this bad boy and it will keep you warm all night long without having to be woken up by the freezing cold and restoking your fire all night long. Now, of course, that's providing you have an electrical outlet to run this thing. And if you do, the benefit of using an electric heater as opposed to like propane or kerosene or something is that this is also going to run all night long. Of course, there are plenty other options out there. There are diesel heaters that you can use on the outside of your tent and pump the heat inside. Personally, I have not tried one of those yet, but I believe that it runs long enough where it could run all night long without having to be refueled. And there are smaller options like the Covia, Cupid, I believe it's called. I've been looking at that one on Amazon, and it uses little butane cans. Those would not last all night. I believe at the most they last like 4 hours. Same with the little buddy heaters. You have to use the little propane tanks with those unless you have a big propane tank that you're running a line from. All these are awesome options, and I'm going to keep experimenting exploring them just because I want to have the best camping experience I possibly can. We're up to 66 in here now. But yeah, I'm very happy with the results of this, and as far as the purpose of this video, using an electric space heater with the specifications of this one, heats up to 300 square feet. It was definitely a success. Now, like I said, it could never replace an actual wood-burning stove. You can't cook on top of this thing. It is a benefit that you can go right up and touch it. You can rub up against it. You're not going to get burned. But having the wood-burning stove, there's just nothing like it. It heats up so good. The aesthetic is awesome, just sitting there watching the fire. And like yesterday, I made chili on there. I made hash and eggs. You're not going to be doing that on the top of this thing. All right, guys, stay tuned. Plenty more videos to come. I'm really excited about this.